Alright, this is going to be my weapon tier list for Curse of the Dead Gods. A couple have been done now, so I figured I'd put in my 2 cents. It's all subjective anyways, but figured I'd give my opinion. Um, so yeah, we'll just start it off. Keen Bow is first up. Now, I do love me some bows. Haven't used a lot lately, but do love me some bows. Keen Bow isn't one I go for. Um, just due to the fact that there's other options available that are better, like crippling bow, um, even swift bow, just for the high base damage. Uh, to be honest, I haven't used it that much, but I'm still comfortable keeping it at decent. The Claws of Evisceration. These were one of my go-to weapons when I started the game. It was also like under 50% health it critted, I believe. So now it's like 30%. They're still decent though. Well, if I say they're decent, put them there. They're not overrated or anything, so wouldn't put them there. Abnegation, I think that's how you say that. Cursed Sword, one of the Cursed Swords. It's like not used at all. I don't ever hear anyone saying they like this weapon. Um, I don't feel that comfortable putting it in bad though still because I don't think it is a bad weapon. I just think no, it's a bad weapon. Like the effect's cool and all, but I mean the base damage is just too lacking. You can interrupt them with charged attacks for days, but I mean if you do 5 combos and they're still not dead, those interrupts aren't going to help much. Ancient Buckler, God tier, easy, easy God tier. Makes every main weapon that doesn't crit amazing, especially maces with their charged attacks that do double damage as well. I forget the name of you right now. Oh, Annihilation. Yeah, I think it's Annihilation. Bow of Madness. Better since the buff. Um, I'm comfortable with putting this in an okay overrated spot because a lot of people do talk about it being good, especially like with the Cursed Archer challenge. Um, but I'd rather every other bow, to be honest. Uh, but that's mainly because I know the weapon or the enemy timings. So the interrupt doesn't really do anything except I don't get a pierce and I can hurt myself. Um, Barbed Javelin. Spears are my favorite fighting style. Barbed Javelin is the worst one. Well, maybe a bit better than Wind Fury now. Wind Fury used to be broken, by the way. Um, but I'm gonna straight up put it as bad because. So wait, does this mean like which one's worse here on the scale? I guess towards the end, right? Yeah, because trash still exists. Um, because yeah, this weakens on finisher. It's spending 3 stam to do a finisher, and I mean it has really low base damage to like pump up upgrades and like relics to like support it further. Might as well do that with like basically any other weapon. And it's just weird to set it up as a weaken because it takes 3 stam. You might as well just use a barbed whip or something of that nature. This is the worst shield in my opinion, but it is still a shield. Um, I'm gonna change the overrated, I think. I think overrated almost deserves its like separate tier. And nothing's really overrated in this game, I find. I don't think. Maybe we'll get there. Okay, but this is just okay because it's a shield. The effect isn't anything worth talking about really. It got buffed a bit, but I'd still rather Ancient Buckler, Flame Shield for the damage reduction, or synergize with Fire Relics, or synergize with Dark Damage for a weaken, anything of that nature. Would rather a Reflect, would rather an Auto Parry, maybe. That's iffy. What other shields? This for the base damage. Mind you, I actually don't know the base damage of the Barb Shield, because I never really grab it. And this is on my altar all the time. For marathons especially. Anyways, Storm Bulwark obviously better. But anyways, okay, Blazing Blade. I think this is an underrated weapon, to be honest. And I'm going to put that good. Because the crit on finisher plus the fire for damage reduction and fire relics like Blazing Ring, the damage up one, I don't know what it's called, but damage to fire attacks. And swords do double damage on charge attacks, so start each combo with a charge attack, maybe even two, plus a crit at the end. It does damage pretty nicely with the fire dot to finish them off. Which is especially nice on hard when the combos don't kill them outright. So Blazing Shield, I'll also put that good. Especially good in Serpent Temple. Knock them into the poison traps. And it has some nice base damage. Base damage got lowered though on it, but used to slap hard. Bloodstake, one of my favorite weapons in the game. I'm gonna put that very good. Spears crit with the tip. This makes finisher crit at any distance and pierce indefinitely, so it'll just keep going. It's really nice to get that crit off if you end up thrusting too close, pause, to the enemy. And 30 base damage it starts off with, which also can be doubled depending on the affix you get with it. So this thing slaps pretty hard. Especially the value is harder to see when you don't parry because you can't get stand back from thrusting so much. But if you can keep your stam up and keep poking, it just decimates rooms. And it will destroy someone like the Jaguar avatar because they're constantly on fire, so you'll constantly be weakening them with your crits. Blood Weeper is bad. Just because it's a heavy and it's like the biggest trap in the game. Heal for your hits, but it will get you hit. That's for sure. At least on hard. Like, you'd probably rather a Jaguar Hammer and a Blazing Ring. And even that's going to be risky on hard. Ceremonial Dagger, God tier, for sure. It's just so easy to stack Perception, and it starts at like 27 base damage. If you get offhand crit on that, GG's. Crippling Bow. Might put that very good. A lot of good relic synergy. You can just two-shot enemies pretty quickly with just like one upgrade on the first floor. Yeah, I'm comfortable with putting it there for now. I think it only starts with like 13 base damage or whatever, but I mean, your second shot's doing 50% more because of the weaken. Thing is, it won't one-shot as quick as something like Swift Bow would with its 15 base damage. The Scepter. This one's tricky. I think I'm just gonna put this as decent. It's amazing with like Final Curse synergy and a buckler, but I mean, you're not gonna get any value out of it as a newer player, especially because newer players tend to avoid maces as well because they feel clunky. But once you get used to the stuns and use charged attacks a lot, maces become better. But at that point, I feel like when this mace becomes useful is when you can use any weapon anyways to win. Well, like almost any weapon. So I'm just gonna put it decent, maybe okay. I don't know. It's a cursed weapon. It's hard to put it down here. So I did put the annihilation down here. I'll put it down here because it was also a speedrunning meta. Like it destroyed if you just went to like low health on purpose immediately. But I'll put it there for now. Duelist Shiv. Daggers are just awesome. So I'll put it here. Starts at 30 damage. The effect, pretty meh. But starts at 30 damage. Feathered Spear, one of my favorite spears. Definitely put that here. Starts at 27 base damage. And the 1 stamp per kill is extraordinarily helpful, especially like once you start 2-poking people. That means every kill you do is free. Or wait, no, more than free. You actually gain stamina. Wait, no, you don't. What am I talking about? No. 2 pokes. You come out even. Um, 3. Okay, so Forge Hammer. This one's tough because it sucks without Tamok's Breath. I mean, you could use it with Blazing Shield or something like that, but then you have to start with a shield charged attack, and then you go in with double regular into finisher. So you don't get to do those powerful mace charged attacks, which is like the only thing that makes maces good. Unless you run like Tamok's Breath or a fire weapon with large stuns like Fire Whip, Jaguar Hammer. That's pretty much it, actually. Crossbow? No, that doesn't set on fire. Could do it with chromatic knives if you did a knife charge attack and it procced fire, and then you went in with the. Or wait, no, that's a primary weapon. I don't know what I'm talking about. You can't have both. Yeah, so that's it. Just Jaguar Hammer and Whip. Oh, you could do bombs too, but who picks those up? Okay, so, but since uh, Tamok's Breath exists, I'm gonna go ahead and just put this here. It's on the better side, because even without Tamok's Breath, it still does some chunky damage. Not really that much though. Don't really want to use it without fire. But like you could even without Tamok's Breath, you can even use it against Jag Avatar or something, or just in Jaguar in general. A lot of fire in there. Get something like crit heal. Like this is the weapon I beat the boss first with in the game. Jaguar got crit heal on it and was like unkillable. Okay, so Fulmination, the Reflect Shield. Nice base damage, cool effect, cool look. But it's just kind of there. You're not ever aiming to get this weapon. I was when it came out because like it was cool reflecting stuff. But as a shield, it's kind of just there for support. Does slap, but you can't get crit offhand on it. So it's actually like weaker to use as damage than something like a buckler or blazing shield. So we're gonna put it good because it's just nice to have. But pretty expensive to pay for, I would say, for just a reflect. But if you don't have a shield and you have a fire weapon, like Fire Claw and shield, that would be nice. I'm gonna go ahead and put it up decent, actually. Gambit, that's god tier. Put it at the very top for now. Heart Render, and yeah, that's obviously god tier because you can spam charge attacks and keep them stun locked and get double crits on them until you run out of stam. Or until your combo chain runs out, which is 5 stam. So yeah. Heart Render. This is really nice with Fire Claw. Or even like Spark Hammer. But it's not worth it, like compared to something like Ceremonial Dagger, which has like pretty much double the base starting damage, and is going to scale way better off everything else because everything scales off of your white number, and this Heart Render's white number is like 15, and that's pretty dang low. So when you get relics and stuff for it, it's like basically getting a relic for a claw, due to how little the base damage is. So we're gonna put it just above the bow for me. It is still good, but it's kind of a hassle compared to these weapons, I think. Fire Claw, that's just a good weapon. Put that there. Nothing more needs to be said about that, really. Hits hard, provides damage reduction, it's quick, can use offhands easily. Can get fire relics for more damage. Enough said about that. Jaguar Bow is the most consistent weapon in the game regarding relics. You got crit, all your base damage, damage and light, you got crit healing, blazing ring, all that. You got your fire relics, you got weaken still. Everything that any other weapon has, plus more. Okay, you don't get darkness. That's the one thing. But I think that's worth it if you can get Blazing Ring. Or if you have access to Blazing Ring. So we're going to put that very good. I'm still going to put it right behind Crippling Bow just because Crippling Bow starts off better. So just need a bit more luck with it. Tiny bit. Jaguar Hammer. Put it bad because it's a heavy. I would actually put it ahead of Lifeweaver because of the damage and the fact that Blazing Ring is in the game and the damage reduction you get from the light, but still a heavy. So still has that dead zone that'll get me hit. Jewel Hammer. Put that decent. Nice damage reduction. Gonna be clunky to use for most players though, but does slap with the double charged. Before double charge into finisher, before Stone Hammer, this is the highest damage mace in the game. So if you got this with Buckler, it just slapped. But now Stone Hammer is pretty much a Buckler, but you can also get Darkness relics. You don't get the damage reduction from the light though. Machete. Okay. Malicious Skewer. I don't use this at all. Like, at all. What weakens? Like, the only thing this would work with, there's nothing, the only thing it would work with is parries. You could use Barbed Javelin, I guess. And that's it. Barbed Javelin. But you're not going to do 3 stamina to then do a dagger combo when so much other combos exist, so this is just bad. In my opinion. And the thing is, daggers crit from behind. So with a parry, if you're parrying, that means you can't get behind them because you're not rolling through their attack. Because you can't parry. I mean, maybe you have time to parry and then roll, but that's just awkward. Just use another dagger. Moonblade, very cool weapon. Not a good weapon though. It does have more damage than Abnegation, and it can be nice with the elemental synergy. Especially like if you're using something like a lightning spear, electrocute them due to the stagger on the spear pokes. You can then have time without the enemy starting an attack to do your charge attack, proc the lightning and the weaken, go in for the full combo, get the crit while they're weakened. It's nice. Gambit's a better version of that, but still nice. So we're gonna put that here, I think. I think it's better than these though. Being able to spam charge attacks back and forth to cross enemies is pretty potent, especially depending on the affix. So I'm comfortable putting it there. I don't know what weapon this is. I guess this is the default pistol. Default weapons go God tier. Just for memeing purposes, because I love them. Okay, Primal Hammer. You go there. Enough said about that. It's a heavy. I always say enough said and then like continue to say stuff. But yeah, it's a heavy and one that you have to use charge attacks with. It is the hardest hitting heavy though. Probably the best heavy actually. This does have Blazing Ring, but I'm still going to put this ahead of it. Because it's a pretty big difference in damage. Sacrificial Makana. I'm going to put you all the way down here. You are barely good. Maybe versus bosses. Actually, I'd rather this. I've used this a lot more than these. And this starts off with like the same damage, but then can crit on the solo enemy. And then versus bosses, it'll be way better than the Heart Render. Okay. Scorpion Spear, put that here. Yes, I'd rather the Feathered Spear because I believe it has like 7 more base damage. Forget exactly what the Scorpion Spear, I think it's 22 to 27, so 5 damage difference. But Poison isn't taking down. Poison does an additional 50%, but it doesn't take down unless you're not attacking them. And with Spear, I'm like always attacking them, except for that like second or two when I'm out of stam and waiting for them to attack. But even then, if I have like something like Sidewinder Sword or a Claw, I'll attack with that. Mind you, then the poison will tick because it won't be a poison weapon. But regardless, I'd rather the initial damage for the 1 pokes off the bat for regular enemies. Because the only time the poison will come into play is versus bosses for me. Because I'm attacking 1 enemy at a time, so the poison isn't getting time to tick down. Seeker's Mace, I've actually rarely used it, so I can't even really say if it's good or bad. In theory, I'd put it above Jewel Hammer. I'll put it here. I think I'm okay with that. And the only reason I don't use it much is because it starts off so weak, and like a lot of my hours come from speedrunning. So like it was just out of the question for that. Serpent Blade. It's a dagger and it's poison. So put it right here. Like this combo right here is nice. And if you get offhand crit, puts it there even. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Sidewinder Sword, that's just like an all-around decent weapon. Slaver's Mace, good. Better than Jewel Hammer. Better than all of these in my opinion. You know, I'm gonna put it as very good. I use it more than these two weapons, but I would probably have to say that these weapons are probably better. Mace, this is really only good with the double charged into finisher, especially if you get this Ancient Buckler, because it makes those two double charged attacks, one double charged attack crit, and then your finisher just crits automatically. But if your finisher didn't crit, for example, you would do the Buckler Parry, then do your double charge, and then the finisher wouldn't crit. Like it runs out of time just in time, so like it pairs perfectly with Slaver's Mace. These are the crit after perfect dodging, right? I'd say these are all around decent. Stonebreaker, bottom of the barrel. Swift Bow, I would have to put here. It's because like yeah, it can get to one shots quicker than these weapons, but your haste after kill isn't gonna help in a lot of situations. Can be nice, but usually you're only noticing it after the last enemy you kill. So it's just getting you to point A to point B quicker, pretty much. The haste is good for lining up additional enemies, though. That's one thing it's nice for. But other than that, yeah, just the high base damage makes it pretty nifty. Titan Slayer, that's a heavy. I'm gonna still put it above the other heavies, though. Vengeance, this is my favorite weapon in the game. S tier if you can parry. I've got over 2,000 damage with the Vengeance. Riposte, because the Riposte does 3x damage and passes through enemies, and you can flick it, which is really nice, especially with mouse and keyboard. I'm still not going to put it above Gambit, because Gambit's broken and you don't need to parry with it. Venomous Claws are just straight up good. Very good even. But no, I'll put them on the same as Dagger. War Makana is probably one I'd put in the overrated category if it was still there. Is that how you spell overrated? Hopefully. Put it right beside Sacrificial Makana. Whispering Aegis is another one that I think is overrated. Fury straight up bad. Torch. I mean, there's no denying the utility purposes of this weapon. Okay. Provides damage reduction. Alright. That's pretty nifty. Provides a dot. Reveals traps. I don't know. I think we're gonna have to put this at a... Like, with all those in mind... With all those in mind, we're just gonna have to leave it at a good. Because the base damage is a little lacking. Alright, so fire stick, that's like the best pistol, but still a pistol. I'm gonna put it there. Actually, I could put it above these. This is the weakened whip, that's straight up good. One of the best secondaries for sure. Blunt claws are bad. One of the only primal weapons that are just horrible in comparison to the rest. I don't know what this one is. One of them is the braided whip. Oh no, this is the braided whip. What? One of these is the crit one, and one of these is the out of stam one, I believe. Wait, what the heck's this one? Is that the cursed? I think that's the cursed whip. Okay, so I'm just gonna say this one is the crit one. I can put that on good. And the one out of stam one I'll put right beside it. I mean, they're still whips, and both of them slap, especially with the offhand combo. Broadsword. Now that's the only heavy that I will put on a different tier. Just because it's cool. This is bad. Straight up bad. Not as bad as blunt claws though. Actually, like at least blunt claws are safer, so I'm gonna put it there. Okay, so Cataclysm is straight up good. The only reason it's not very good is the jewels, to me. They make me stress out and make me think I can maybe lose my Guru timer or something. Make me have to awkwardly dodge, losing a stamina point. Chipped Dagger. 30 base damage. I might as well put this right behind Duelist Shiv. And I'm going to bring Forge Hammer up a bit. Okay, I should put these up too though. Doesn't matter what order they're in, I already forget which one I assigned to which. They're two weapons I don't use that much, but that's just because I don't like the playstyle that much. I do like whips, like I use them in my standard marathon attempts, just because the offhand destroys, especially with Brutal Temper active. It just decimates fools. Chromatic Knives, overrated. I hear some people say they're bad as well, but there's also some people who like love them, but I hate the base damage on them, and proccing anything but lightning feels bad after getting lightning once. So put them there. Ah, this brings us to our first bomb. Okay, there's your tier. Okay, cursed sword. Gonna put that at the top of decent because you die in one hit. Um, if you're trying to beat the game, that's not the weapon that's gonna do it for you. Obviously, it's the easiest weapon to go hitless with, but obviously going hitless in the first place is a challenge. And the damage isn't all that crazy. Like, I got high 2K. I forget what the record for my curse sword is. I think it's 2800. At least 2700. But my highest damage for vengeance is 2200. But vengeance, I don't get one shot. Um, Mind you, that's with a big riposte, not a single finisher. But still, um, obviously cursed sword's a mix between OP and challenge run. So I think it's good to put it right at the halfway mark, pretty much. And then we got braided whip, which is still a whip. I wouldn't use it in anything but standard marathon. But it's still decent. I'd put it like above keen bow, maybe. I'll put it above these. Yep, trash. Disemboweler claws are very cool, but just decent. Actually, I don't know. Like, they're better than. I find they do better than these. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like, disembowel, like, as long as they have a damage affix on them, that finisher 360, like, the 360 crits plus the hit after crits, like, it slays. You can clear multiple mobs with that finisher if you get to it. Um, and I think I'd rather that than all these weapons. I mean, I should change this curse sword though, because if I'm going by that logic, I wouldn't like rather it over curse sword. So I'm just gonna put that there. Effulgence is still god tier. Like first room, it just slaps and keeps opponents stun locked. Poison pistol is bad. Evasive knives has like 16 base damage. I still don't like them though, actually. The only blades I really like are weighted blades and heart seekers. So I'm gonna put these at decent. Crossbow I haven't used that much, but it's a bit slow. But I'm still safe with putting it, like, still okay with putting it right here. Okay, this is a dark whip. Just slap that there. No one uses that thing. Okay, bomb. Gusting glaive. No one really uses this either. But still decent. Would I rather that over these? No. Heart Seekers, easy. Easy, easy. Hunting axes, bad. I can't stand them. Can't stand them at all. Maybe they're good with Eagle's Fascination, but that piddly 11 base damage or whatever they are, 12 now, I don't know. Just really shows. And I hate them. I will put them above. That. There we go. Hey, you could even use these two together. There you go. Okay. Bomb. Witch's Crook. I'll put that at the top of bad. Gunther's gonna hate me for that one if he ever sees this, but I'm not a fan of heavies. But it's one of the best. I don't even know what this one does. Is this like the perfect shot one? Rainmaker? I mean, it really does it matter? I don't know why I'm wasting my time. Let's get all the pistols. Poison pistol's still worse though. Oh, Reaper. I think that goes at the very top of okay overrated, because I've heard a lot of people say they like the Reaper, and I think it's bad. Obsidian Dagger. I would rather that dagger over everything except Ceremonial Dagger. Wait, why is... Okay, Fire Claw's way down here, but Poison Claw's up there. I'm gonna slap Fire Claw up there. Okay. Bomb. Primitive Spear. It does poke pretty hard, but I'm actually not going to put it in very good tier. I'm going to put it... I would still rather all these weapons instead of it. But yeah, it starts off slapping out the gate. Serpent Bow is the bow I use the least. Like, as in I don't use it at all. So... But poison probably makes the most sense on bows because it gives you a bit of downtime between shots where the poison can actually tick. But the base damage I'm not loving. I'm comfortable putting it there. Silver Stars right behind there. I'm not a fan of dodging. I'd rather parry when I can, so a weapon that does damage based on dodges isn't ideal. Skyhammer, put that right before... Yes, that works. Oh, the fire pistol. It's like one of the best ones. I would rather this over Reaper just because it can get offhand crit. Yeah, that works. Spark Hammer. That also goes in decent for me. And I would rather that or all of these. Dynamite, nope. Stiff Bow. 15 base damage. Pretty much the same as Swift Bow, but doesn't have the added effect. So I'm gonna put this. I'd probably rather a lot of these. I'll put that right there. Honestly, I'm gonna put the gun higher. I'm gonna try to order these based on like what I'd pick over the others. I think that's good. Serpent Lash. You can go right after. No. After. The Cursed variant. Storm Lash, though. Not much of a whip guy, but I mean, they're mighty good. And then we got Stone Hammer. I really like the Stone Hammer, especially with the buckler. Like if you get it with buckler, it's god tier. But I'll put it right there. Storm Bulwark, I actually don't use it that much, but it is a shield. Not going to be buckler tier. I'm okay with putting it right after Spark Hammer. Storm's Point is very nice. I love me some spears. Put that in bad. Just because the dead zone, when you're so close, the attack goes right through them. We don't like that. These are MVP for standard marathon because they start off at like 16. And you can just spam charge attacks and clear the room. But they're not going to be very good for the majority of players. I think these belong at a decent. Warmongers are just kind of bad. Overrated, some might say. Weighted blades. Definitely very good. I'm going to put these here. Like, these are some of my favorite weapons. Warren Shield's still a shield. Gonna be hard to get offhand crit though when it doesn't come with any affixes and you can only get one. So I want to put that here there, but it doesn't look as cool as starting with the cat yum yum there. So I'll put that there. And then of course our last bomb goes in trash. So let's review. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, makes sense. Let's put that there. Yep, yep, yep. I honestly don't know if I'd rather this primitive spear. I mean, I would rather it over all this, actually. Swiftbow does feel really nice, but I don't know if it's... Like, I'd pick Swiftbow over everything in this, except Abomination Claws. But, I don't think it's actually S tier, just because, like, with my amount of hours, it feels good playing, but I don't know if it'll actually make it easier to play the game than the other weapons ahead of it would. Actually, yeah, it would. Put it up here. Torch belongs there. I think this list is pretty much gravy. I mean, I'm sure there's things I'd probably change up a little bit. But seems good to me. I think I'll put this a bit higher too. Then I got all these bad weapons. Okay, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Alright, this was probably an hour too. Like, these things do take longer than I think they would at first. But alright, thanks for sticking it out, and hope you guys have a good one. Take care.